Hi, everyone. My name is Rahel. I hope everyone's having a great Holy Week so far. I'm here to reflect on Holy Thursday. And to start on that reflection, my mind immediately goes to the Last Supper when I think of Holy Thursday. And even though I love to think about the part about how gracious and sacrificial and loving Christ is, and how he allows me to partake in his Holy Communion every single week, just like in the Last Supper. I think what I want to focus on for this reflection is more about what kind of vulnerability that requires from me in truly seeking healing from Christ and being honest with myself about some of the things that might be drawing me away from Him, and also coming to Him honestly about what things I do need healing from. And even though it sounds kind of counterintuitive, I've noticed that sometimes when I feel like I'm struggling the most spiritually and I'm in the most need spiritually, those are the moments when I feel like I sometimes like keep myself from partaking or feel scared to come to Christ with those shortcomings or those sins of mine. But reflecting more deeply on like what actually was said and what was done during the Last Supper, I think that's helped me a lot because as we know, there were two characters that Christ knew were going to betray him, and he still was just so infinitely loving, and still even said that he fervently desired to dine with them. And I think that Christ is telling me that in those moments as well, even though I feel kind of shameful or I feel guilty for certain things, especially like, being kind of perfectionist when I'm not doing things that align with what God would want from me. Those are the probably the most important moments that I need to remember Christ telling me that he does desire for me to partake. He does want to feast with me. And those moments are actually super vulnerable and important because it's, my responsibility and it's what I should do. I should be coming to Christ truthfully and honestly and showing him all my wounds and all those shortcomings so that he knows and he knows that I'm ready to receive that healing from him. And I think there's a bit of like a spiritual tension in that where it's kind of difficult to be approaching the King of Kings while feeling like I'm not worthy. But I've learned over the years that that's literally the point because when you feel the most brokenhearted and when you're in those really tough moments, that's when you can truly accept and receive that healing from Christ. And of course, we know like the pinnacle of this is by partaking in the Holy Communion. And kind of going off of that, just knowing that there are countless times that I know I can relate to those two characters, to Peter and Judas. And I know that we do a lot of comparing and contrasting of those two and why one might be what we should try to be and one isn't. But I can truly say that I know that there are times that I relate to both of them, and just knowing that Christ is still ready to receive me with open arms, that's actually been super transformative. And just knowing that he wants me to sacrifice my broken and contrite heart in those moments, that is where I feel the most safe and loved with Christ. And then I guess also thinking more about kind of the washing of the disciples' feet that Christ did as well, that just goes on to show how merciful he is towards me, because even when he knows that I'm going to sin against him, I'm going to betray him, he still he gives such love and doesn't hold back anything. And there's nothing that I can do that will separate me from his love. And I think knowing that is actually what makes all of it so much more meaningful, that I'm not perfect and that I'm going to mess up, but he still wants to do those things for me. I think that's been such an important takeaway for me over the last few years, just reflecting on that and truly understanding it. And even though it's extremely uncomfortable, just sticking with it and asking God for strength to continue on this path, even when I know it's going to keep happening, those things are going to repeat. And then I think also reflecting on Christ himself and his own pain that he was feeling. I think sometimes in life I get a bit disheartened, or I feel maybe impatient to go through certain things. But knowing that Christ did, he made the ultimate sacrifice while being a perfect man, I think that helps to strengthen me in a lot of the things that I've gone through, and being able to draw on that, knowing that nothing that I go through will ever be as big as what Christ has done for me. And yet still he validates those experiences. He wants to share in my healing, and he wants to share in my pain. I think all of that also has been really helpful in my own journey and walk with Christ, and in bringing me in a deeper intimacy with him. And I think all these components of Holy Thursday have, it's like a kind of perfect summary of what this life, what this walk is all about, and what it means to continue to strive and continue to try to build that bond and intimacy with Christ. And that's why I think that this is just such an important day to reflect on, and to read about and to pray about, and just continuing to seek that healing, knowing that this is a lifelong journey, and that the whole point is that there are going to be ups and downs, and that's literally what brings you closer to Christ. That's been super transformative for me. So I hope that this has helped someone, or encouraged someone out there who might be going through something, and does want to find healing and to find meaning in that journey, and just knowing that this is something that is going to strengthen them in their walk. I pray that God strengthens you and allows you to hear his word for you.